It's Clobberin time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Greetings, clobberers, clobberonimos, clobberooskies, clobberettes, and clobberoids. Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome to Clobberin Times, Saturday night Star Trek. Just kidding. It's Monday night Mark C. Comics Talk. Just kidding. I just thought to catch you off guard because we had such a good time with Saturday Night Star Trek the other night. I figured why not? I'd give it a shot. Welcome everybody to Monday night Mark C. Comics Talk. My good buddies, so good to see you here tonight. I got no topic or anything tonight. Well, what's new about that, right? Hey, but I get to hang out with you here on Clobberin Times, number 473 on YouTube, number 1,173 overall since coming at you from the Baxter Building basement in the Isle of Misfit Toys since 2009. That, of course, all being run by the Kirby Commandos, over which I, of course, preside as Supreme Commandant and Absolute Ruler, and you will obey me. Well, let's face it, you probably won't, but, you know, what can you do? Good to see you, my dear friends. I'm so happy to have you here with us. And I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, those who celebrate it. Or if you don't, just hope you had a great weekend. It's great. I'm just happy to see you all here tonight. Let me start out by saying hello. Well, quick show notes. Hey, nothing big that I have scheduled yet. So all I know is I'll probably be obviously hanging over there with the great Midnight's Edge gang tomorrow night. I think 6 p.m. Central, whatever it is, 6:05 Central, with Tom and the gang. I guess I'll be hanging out over there with them tomorrow night. And Wednesday, I think Loki is planning a comic book roundtable at 7 Central over on his fine channel. I'll be there if that is the case, if he's having it. And then Wednesday night, I'll be doing my own show, my Wild Card Wednesday show. And then Thursday, back over there with Tom and the gang at 6 p.m. Central, Midnight's Edge after dark, and then after that 9 p.m. Central on my own channel back over here at Clobberin Times for the for the big clubhouse with Raquel and Mark and my dear friends and all of you, of course, hopefully. And then Nick's Comic Shop Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Central, I do believe, and then Saturday night Star Trek, which will begin season 4 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, reviewing it. So what a fun time we had this past Saturday night. A great, great time. Thank you all so much for making that a wonderful show for us, and had a great time geeking out on the Sunday Night Geekery with my great buddy, the great chief engineer, Mark D. with a C. Also, that was a lot of fun, so shout out to him. And please go to his channel. Please subscribe to all my friends' channels that you see linked in my description below. And let's get started saying some hellos to the friends who are here with us tonight that are saying hello in the chat. Of course, as always, anyone watching this on a later download or watching this later on a repeat, whatever you want to call it, I thank you so much. I really value that. I don't say it enough, and I should. Cannot say how much it's wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. And those who are lurking, not everyone gets a chance to join in the chat. Some people just don't really go in for that sort of thing. They just listen as Raquel likes to call it, a podcast type thing. Thank you if you're lurking. It is much appreciated. And of course, always shout out to the fantastic wrenches here, to the big trio of big time professional wrenches who hang out with me as buddies, whether they're here or not. They get the shout out. Of course, the great Eric K, the bronze wrencher buddy. And again, thank you so much for that picture. I really appreciate it. I've reached out to the great Ginger Ninja and thanked him. And I just thank you. So it's just wonderful. Really appreciate it, buddy. You are too kind. What a great pal you are. Another great pal is, of course, the Vindicator Wrench of the North, Chris Persia, my brother. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure, man. Thank you for all you do. And, of course, the great D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. Good to see you there, bro. And, by the way, since we're showing pictures, I saw a Polymies minion in the chat, I do believe. Let's look at the puppy, the pupper dog, the pupperoni. Hey, puppy dog. And hello there, Apollomy. I hope you're doing well. Be safe out there. Both hands on the wheel, young lady. Also with us tonight, of course, is the great Lord Thoth, Chief of Security and a great pal. Hey, buddy. Avon lives and long live the Legion to you, sir. My great reviewing buddy and a gentleman with a fantastic channel in his own right, J-Man. Hey, J-Man, what's up, brother? Please, everyone, if you have not subscribed, go find J-Man's link in my description below. Or if J-Man, you or yourself, anyone wants to put that link up, please do. He has a fantastic channel. He does all kind of really cool stuff throughout the week. And, of course, once in a while, we get together and team up to do a review of certain comics and things like that. And, man, last Monday night, that special that we reviewed this, Brave and the Bold 124. I had so much fun doing that. Believe me, this is nowhere near our first excursion into the wacky world of Bob Haney. I'm looking over, perusing some things right now. In the next week or two, I will announce our next Bob Haney review. But we'll review other stuff too, don't get me wrong. But J-Man, thank you so much for that, bro. Appreciate it. Let's see who else we have here with us tonight. Maddie's daddy, what's up, Steve Mitchum, brother? Good to see you, Bo. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope Maddie is doing well also, and everyone else. Gwagnar, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Michelle O'Rourke Johansson, hello there. Hope you were doing well tonight. Let's see here. Who else we got? Claude Saling, hey there. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure to have you. Let's see here. Phantom Outsider was the man. What's up, buddy? Fanty. Metamusness is here. Yay, Metamusness. Cardinal Sim, what's up, Cardi? Thank you for the super sticker, buddy. $10 super sticker. That is very generous of you. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well, Cardi. Good to see you, bud. Hope you had I was nowhere near home all day yesterday, so I don't know if you or anyone else streamed other than when I got home late. So if you had a stream yesterday, I hope it was a good one. If you can, anyone, of course, Cardinal Sins link is in my description below, and if anyone wants to put that up in the chat, please do. Please do, but please, of course, always go to his channel and subscribe. Hungry for Mac Turkey Day Leftovers. Hungry boy, what's up, buddy? Good to see you there, buddy. Brian Hepburn, hello there. Hey there. You've been shouted out already, D-Bud. Thank you, Wrench of Iron, for being here. Mark Seth, hey there, bud. Good to see you. Please subscribe to J-Man's channel. Let's see here. What else we got going? Who else we got in here, if anybody? Make sure we got everybody before I go move on. I just want to be sure. I love to shout everybody out when I get. I don't like to miss anybody. I think I might have it covered. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but I will try to get anyone who pops in, of course. Anyway, great to see you all. What a crowd. Amazing. Yeah, because, I had no topic tonight. Look, this is a comic show, of course, so let's talk comics. So if you guys have any questions about comics, as you know, I can't answer everything. Nobody can. But if you have anything to talk about comics-wise, I don't follow any of the modern crap, of course, but that's what March Comics Talk is about. This is open Comics Talk because I was too lazy to come up with a damn topic. We had a great topic last week and then just did an open show. I'm working on topics, so we're going to have we're going to do some Christmas-related stuff on all of our topic shows, of course. Well, I'd say all of them. This one, and I'm going to try to get some other ones in. Michelle says she had some good cornbread. She made some great cornbread. Fantastic. Love it. That sounds fantastic. Trevor Cunningham for a $6.99 Canadian super sticker. Thank you so much, Trevor. I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Now, Cardinal Sin asked the question, who are your favorite top 10? It's tough to go. I'd have 10 off the cuff. I can name you some in random, in no particular order. Cardinal Sin, though. Alan Moore is someone that I was such a gigantic fan of his 80s and 90s work. He's probably my all-time favorite as far as body of work, bulk writer. Alan Moore. Alan Moore. I once actually considered writing a book about his work. I didn't do it, because I'm a slacker. But Alan Moore might be the number one for me. But I tell you what, it's Kurt Busiek is also on there. Busiek is, I know it's supposed to be Busiek and not Busiek. It became a habit. Kurt Busiek's written stuff that, in my opinion, rivals Alan Moore. And I'll try to watch for your questions and regard to them. So Kurt Busiek will be on there. Also, let's see here. Frank Miller's written some great stuff as a writer. He's done some brilliant things, of course. Who's some of the other ones? Steve Gerber's written some really cool, really fun stuff, some cool stuff. Gardner Fox, of course. He's in the Clobberin Times Hall of Fame. But he's one of the great creators as well as comic authors. Let's see here. Oh boy, man, it's so many of them. I'm not the biggest Peter David guy, but he has written some really good stuff. He's written some good stuff, and some, I like him. I like him a fair bit. Mark Waid, maybe whatever he is in real life, he's a total nut job, but he's written some pretty good comics. Grant Morrison is hit or miss. Grant Morrison has written some of the great stuff, and he's written some garbaggio. Your Muslim uncle, what's up, buddy? Steve Englehart. Yeah, Phantom Outsider, that's a good one. Steve Englehart would definitely be on there. That's Cardi, I'd have to make a list. Lynn Wein and Marv Wolfman have certainly written some things that I like. When you go back and revisit some of their writing styles, kind of on the wonky side, I would have to say. Of course, Paul Levitz would be up there. Now, he's written a lot of stuff that, wasn't all that great either, like all of them. But Paul Levitz. Cardi, you didn't have to, thank you for the $10 super chat. Who are your top 10 favorite comic artists? That I can tell you because I have a list. A couple of years ago, our late, great, departed, sadly departed friend, Mark C. and I did a countdown show where we counted down our all-time favorite comic book artists. And I have that list right here. And just for you, Cardi, if you would like, I will read you I'll read the whole list. Thank you for the $10 super chat. You were too kind, Cardinal. I can give you my top 25 all-time favorite writer list. Trevor Cunningham has a list of some writers here. It says Alan Moore, Frank Miller, Mike Mignola, Daniel Close, and to name a few. Good list there for sure, Trevor. Absolutely. Yeah, if I sat down, I would have to sat Carrie. I like some Carrie Bates stuff, Phantom. You know, it's a good, you know what, Cardinal, though, I do appreciate the idea. I'm going to have to sit down and think it out and do a list of my favorite writers, because writers don't get enough credit. The guys who just do the writing. So that is a good one. And I guess, yeah, Gwagnar with the tripwire there. But okay, if you want, I'll just do my 10. I will give my top 10 artists for you. This is for you, Phantom Outsider. As soon as I turn my phone down, which I forgot to turn down here. All right. Because Cardinal Sin asked. These are my top 10 all-time favorite comic book artists. Clobberin time. You may be rewound a little bit. You may not be completely up with the speed. No Kirby or Chris Claremont. Kirby's one of the great creators. I mean, he's such a creator. I call him a creator. He writes and he draws. Yeah, I mean, Kirby would be way up there at the writers. I just don't think of him as, when you think writer, I guess I was just thinking guys who only write. But yes, and Chris Claremont, although Miller was an exception, but I like some of Miller's work when he wasn't doing the art, if you see what I'm saying. But yeah, Chris Claremont, I'm not the biggest Claremont guy, I got to tell you. So here you go, Cardi. Here's my top 10 artists, counting down from number 10. Now, this is just a favorite list, mind you. This is not being scientific. So, Hungry Boy, don't hurt me, man. You're a real comic book artist, and these are just my personal favorites. Number 10, Kurt Swan. Again, is he greater than some of the other names, on the Tripwire list or what have you? I'm not saying that he is, but I love him. I adore, and so he's way up there on my list, above artists who certainly are greater, but he just means a lot to me. Number 9, this one shocked. This one was a shocker for my buddy, my dear departed friend Mark C, because the way I beat up on this guy, you would think he was no way he could make my top 10. But my number 9 is John Byrne. Although he needed inkers to make the stuff great. Byrne has done some extraordinary work, and when he's on point, some of the finest superhero stuff anyway there is. My number 8 is John Romita Sr. Something about almost. I just love his work, love his Spidey work, and love all of his commercial superhero stuff that he did for Marvel. There's something about that. It's sort of like he is to Marvel what Jose Luis Garcia Lopez is to DC. His look epitomizes the branding of those characters. And of course, I love his Spidey. He's just a favorite of mine. I love him. Number 7, Jim Steranko. Do I need to explain? Jim Steranko was a master and didn't do a gigantic body of work. What he did was just off the hook, out there. My number 6, Jim Aparo. Again, not a guy that, I mean, look, he's higher on my list than some guys that are far more polished, far more greater to the industry and all that stuff, but I just love him. I just love Jim Aparo's work. Number 5, Neil Adams. If you think that's low for Adams, I could explain it. But yeah, he's still up at number 5. So 5 is pretty high. Remember, this is a favorites list, not me sitting here trying to give artistic analysis of who's better, because that's for guys like Hungry Boy, who knows that sort of thing. I would never even argue with him on anyone he puts on there. Number 4, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Just something about that guy's work, and it's not that he has almost a modicum of interior work by comparison, but there's something effervescent about his exterior work. In other words, his covers and all of his other stuff. I just love that. I mean, he makes the superheroes just stand out. Again, he's not better. Is he greater than any of the ones on my list after this, or even some? No, not of course not. But he's just a wonderful artist, and as a favorite, it was just a personal favorite of mine. I'd love to see Hungry Boy's list. Hungry Boy's my top one, of course. Number 3, the late great George Perez. George Perez, again, you have to understand something, everybody. I'm a child who's pushing 60. So I love superheroes, and I don't care who knows it. They're just my favorite thing. That's my favorite genre of comics. I love other types of comics for sure, but I do love superheroes, and maybe I'll never grow out of them. Maybe I will grow out of them someday. And no one draws a superhero crowd scene like George Perez. Beautiful work. Love him. Love his. Number 2, Eli Katz, a.k.a. the great Gil Kane. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it gets to a point. But I love Gil Kane so much. I don't know. Again, these are just personal favorites. He means more to me. And number 1, do you have to guess at number 1? Does anybody here need for me to really tell them who number 1 is? Cardinal Sin, since you asked the question, I'll let you tell us all what my number 1 is, because you've got to know. Even if you don't know, you know. I mean, come on. Let's see. Cardinal Sin asks, did you enjoy any of the original Heavy Metal movie? I love the original Heavy Metal movie. I love that movie. Yes, Maddie's daddy, his real name was Eli Katz. That was his name. Steve. Everyone's with the smart alecky Stanley stuff. I knew it. That was coming. Yeah. Well, he did create everything after all, including you and me and everybody. He created creating things. Yes, Dad D-Bud. That's what it is. Yeah. I mean, you all know that. Do I have to tell you who the king of my list is? And it's not even close. I remember, and again, favorite is very subjective. So I'm just always leery about, especially when I'm not an artist myself, leery about saying this guy was the greatest and this guy, whatever. But I will say that Gil Kane himself, I heard him say it at a con. He said Jack Kirby's the greatest comic book artist of all time, and it's not even close. It's an opinion. It came from Gil Kane, who is, whether you like his work or not, that guy knew a little bit of something about comic book art. He was in the business long enough, and that's what he said. And who am I to argue with the great Gil Kane? Eli Katz is the man. But so that's just a personal favorite list. There are artists like I said, it was just. And by the way, that was made 2 years ago. Who knows? I might have mixed it up if I made it today, but I was just looking at the old list. That is good stuff right there. Stop jacking Kirby around. Maddie's daddy wins the day. I love it. Yep. The king is the king. And again, he's not everyone's favorite artist, which is fine. He doesn't. There's some people that aren't into his art. That's all fine and good. Nobody, but I always like doing a favorites list. I'm not going to sit there and pretend I know best, so I just say favorite. Now, Stanley created everything. Yeah, the Stanley created. He created creators. But Hungry Boy, I would like to see your list. I'll run down 15 through 11. 25 through 11 very quickly. 25, John Buscema. 24, Marcia Rogers. 23, Al Williamson. 22. Sorry, I got it wrong. I got 25. I have Buscema at 26. Sorry. No, I have him at 25. Okay, I was looking at the old list. Sorry. Here we go. 25, John Buscema. 24, Marcia Rogers. 23, Al Williamson. 22, Walt Simonson. 21, Alex Raymond. 20, Nick Cardy. 19, Joe Kubert. 18, Mike Grell. 17, Steve Ditko. 6, Alex Ross. 15, Bernie Wrightson. 14, Dave Cockrum. 13, Wallace Wood. 12, Jim Starlin. 11, Barry Windsor-Smith. Hey there, could not be reached for further comment. Good to see you. Oh, we had a question earlier. Michelle had a question. She said, I do have a comic question for you. My husband is an X-Men fan. He fell in love with the character of Morph, but he can't find mention of him anywhere else except the 90s animated show. Well, Morph was in comics, but I guess I could just tell you this about Morph. But by the time that the X-Men animated show made it to the air, which I just binged that again recently. That's right, he was in Exiles. There you go. But the time I dumped X-Men many years before there was even an Exiles book. Before there was I was reading anything. So the first time I ever saw him was on the animated series. Yes, he was created for the animated series, but he was in comics later. He was put in some comics later, I do believe, but I wouldn't know because I wasn't reading any of them at that point. So I'm told he was in comics. I wouldn't know. But I didn't like. I don't know about him. I wasn't that big. I didn't really like the character that much. Yeah, Exiles came after the show, Phantom. That's right. So I wasn't reading. I never read Exiles, and so by the time that's what I'm saying. I dumped X-Men way before the animated series came out. So when I saw him in the animated series, I just assumed he'd been around, and I just didn't see him anywhere because I wasn't buying Marvel. Then I realized and then I found out the assumption was not correct. And let's see here. Cardinal Sin, that's a good question. No love for Art Spiegelman? I do love Art Spiegelman, but I'll tell you what, Mouse is considered to be a very important book. But I think my favorite Art Spiegelman art is the work he did on the old wacky packages from he thinks it was junk because it was just a job for him. But I'm a big fan of the old wacky packages from the early 70s. And Art Spiegelman designed those. So that's true about that. That is true that there was a character similar to that in the 60s. There was a morph type character, and that it was kind of based on that. That is true. Good point. Fanty and whoever's talking about that thing. went by me. So I don't know if any of you remember Wacky Packages. Yep. Oh, good night, Maurice. Yeah, I loved Wacky Packages. I still have a lot of my older ones. So anyway, damn it. Same here, Trevor. I loved Wacky Packages so much. I even had a few of the T-shirts they did back there. Like my mom got me one. I think my mom got me the T-shirt at Kmart. The Kentucky Fried Finger, the Kentucky Fried Fingers T-shirt. Yeah, but I love those. So, and I think Cardinal, you mentioned Bill Sienkiewicz earlier. I'm not the biggest. I mean, I like Bill Sienkiewicz. I kind of liked it when he was just ripping off Neil Adams on Moon Knight, to be honest. When he started out and doing stuff like on New Mutants and Elektra Assassin and later Stray Toasters and his crazy painting style and doing all those crazy covers. I mean, it's good. It's great stuff. And, yeah, but it was okay. It wasn't really sequential art that much. Graphic storytelling. It looked good. And so, yeah, I mean, I like him fine. But a lot of these people on this list of favorites are people that did work that also, in other words, they were involved with characters in comics that I liked a lot. Sienkiewicz, like I said, he was pretty much, Neil Adams even said this guy was it? He draws like me, so hire him or whatever. He was drawing like Neil Adams, which was great. And that's what I liked on Moon Knight. Straight Toasters. Can edited for PG rating, yeah. Well, what's the matter with you, Hungry Boy? You don't like toasters or something? Are you a toasterist? But Cardinal Sin, those are some good questions about comics, man. I love it. And I'll probably you've got me interested in probably making a list of the writers, because again, when I say when comics are a very visual medium, and there was a time when artists did most of their own writing. They didn't, there weren't a lot of career writers that got a lot of I mean, outside of maybe Gardner Fox and Bill Finger, maybe a handful of others. Joe Simon a little bit, but he did artists. He was an artist as well. As far as guys who were just writers, coming out of the golden age, I can't think of. I mean, it's not like even the 70s when when you could name a bunch of writers who just wrote comics. Like I said, it's Gardner Fox, Bill Finger. There were a couple others, I guess. Jerry Siegel. But it seemed like most artists, you didn't usually get to see the name of the writers much. They weren't even, well, of course, you did a little bit, but not. It seemed like at the outset of the late 60s, in the 60s, now DC did it a good bit. Like when you had Jim Shooter coming up in there and Edmund Hamilton, and you had, Carrie Bates, and then you get into the 70s with Carrie Bates and Marv Wolfman and Lynn Wein and Elliot Maggin and Tony Isabella and all these different guys who were just known as comics writers. There's, but it does seem like that was a little bit later when there were more and more of these guys who just could write comics. Before that, a lot of times it was a comic book, artist coming up with most of the plot. They call it, and then the editors just kind of kibitzing with them a little bit. And yes, I'm sort of talking about the Marvel method. Was it George Klein, an inker? Phantom Outsider? Cartoonist K-Fab compared Al Williamson and Richard Corbin adaptations of Ray Bradbury's story Sound of Thunder on their YouTube channel today. It was wonderful. Oh, cool. Richard Corbin was cool. I like a lot of his stuff. He did an adaptation of called Vic and Blood, which was an adaptation of Harlan Ellison's A Boy and His Dog. I met Richard Corbin once. Crazy art style. I'd shudder to think what Hungry Boy thinks of Richard Corbin. And like I said, I mentioned Joe Simon fandom, and I said Joe Simon, he also did art as well. And actually, he was kind of the business end of the Simon and Kirby team, partnership. Kirby still did a lot of the plotting, at least that's a belief anyway. But the Marvel method came along, and you had like artists would have conversations with editors. I'm not singling anybody out. And then artists would go off and do all the plotting and everything and all the ideas and draw the whole thing out. And then certain people would, even when there were words on the sides of the margins, would put their own words in the balloons. Cardi says, I adore Richard Corbin and even made a digital painting as an homage to him. Cool. It was excellent. I mixed on Corbin, says Hungry Boy. I dig his film posters and half of his comics work. Well, that's a fair cop. No problem, Fanty. George Klein was a pretty good inker on Kurt Swan, but nobody was a better inker on Swan than Murphy Anderson, though. Nobody. The Swanderson team was just fantastic. So yeah, I'm not saying they weren't writers. It just seems like there came a time when there were more, Roy Thomas and all those guys, and coming into in the late '60s into the early '70s, Claremont, all these people really started. Paul Levitz, all these guys. There became as many writers as there were artists. Where there was a time when comic books, I guess in a sense, rightly so in some ways, the superstar was the artist. I think that's true, Phantom Outsider. I think Klein did work. He did some work for Marvel, and I know it wasn't. I thought it was mostly George Russo, so something George Klein, but it might have been George Klein. I don't know. That could be true. I know it wasn't just Russo's. I don't know. Klein inking his pencils in the 50s was tasty stuff like Klein's inks on Big John Buscema. Yes, Anderson on Carmen Infantino. This is just fantastic. I remember, of course, I've seen Murphy Anderson at a couple of cons, but back in 1985, was it 85? I think it was 85. Yes, when DC had their big 50th anniversary thingy. I don't know if you all remember that. But I went to a friend of mine's comic shop in Mississippi, and each comic shops who were doing the big birthday party celebration thingy on this Saturday were all, the DC offices got a bunch of as many creators, artists, writers, and whatnot to call comic shops to do like go on a speakerphone and talk to the people like a con by phone, a little mini get together by phone, if you will. And each comic shop got somebody, and I guess they probably had divvied it out to different comic shops, which are the artists and the writers and whatnot would call and talk to the comic shops. Did anyone that's in one of those? Because comic shops all over the country had them. In 1985? Well, 1985, I was asking my friend who owned the shop, so who are we getting? He said, we don't know. If I remember right, now this is, Telecon, there you go. If I remember right, this was, again, it's been 1985, but, if I'm remembering correctly, it was a Saturday, and they had a big, celebration and whatnot. And DC, he said it's going to be somebody, a comic artist or writer or whatever. I don't know. So, a whole bunch of people were there. Some of my friends, some younger younger people. I guess a lot of them must thought they were going to get John Byrne or Frank Miller. I don't know. Or George Perez or Marv Wolfman. I don't know what they thought. But we got Murphy Anderson. And I thought for a minute there, I and two of my friends were the only ones excited about that. I'm like, hell yes, Murphy Anderson. Oh my God. And so none of the younger people there had anything to ask or say to Murphy Anderson because they didn't know who the hell he was. So I don't know. I asked him most of the questions. I think one of my other friends did too, because if we hadn't been there, I guess it'd have been crickets because he was there to take questions and just talk a little bit about DC. And of course, I was, he was obviously he and Terry Austin, two of the greatest inkers, ever. And so, thank you, Cardi. I appreciate that. Gwagnar says, a world made of cardboard, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Well, I'm glad to see you there. Thank you for popping in, buddy. I hope you were doing well. Gwagnar says, well, Matt was never considered a top writer, but he did write some of my favorite series in the late 70s and 80s, Spectacular Spider-Man, Hulk, Rom, Micronauts. Yeah, I loved some of his Hulk, although I think he got kind of tiresome with it for a while personally. Some of his Spidey, I don't know. I loved Rom. And of course, our buddy Mark D loved Micronauts. I didn't read much of Micronauts. Metlo had a tendency to be pretty hacky. I know, of course, he has a horrible story. What happened to him is very horrible, very regrettable. It's a damn shame, and I feel bad for him. But he had some of his writing style, like a lot of these guys. Hungry Boy says Austin is top 5 for me until his fat line period began in 83. Whoa, wow. Oh my. I'm glad I don't know such things. I just know that I've loved his work, but not look. I always defer to you on that kind of stuff, buddy. Fandy says an interesting thing with George Klein is his birth year is listed as 1915 through 1920. He took him a long time to get born, didn't it? Back then, records weren't that big of a thing, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. But I loved Rom. We have let's see here. Of late, as many of you know, I've been going back and rereading a lot of old comics, particularly in the Bronze Age, a bunch of 70s stuff. Reviewing them sometimes, for example, Nick and the boys and I on Nick's Friday night comic book stream reviewed the first, I think, 13 issues of Nova or whatever it was, The Man Called Nova from the mid 70s, and we've reviewed a few some what ifs and such. And those comics are just a delight to go back and look at and read and experience and enjoy. we've reviewed some Halloween, some monster related comics too. Tomb of Dracula and some Werewolf by Night and some Marvel team ups and things like that. But when you go back and read those comics, sometimes the art, is just fantastic, and other times you're like, well, back then I didn't like this art too much. Now it just looks so much better than this modern crap. But the writing sometimes, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but there are times, where the writing can be really cringy. It's a product of his could not be reached. Doug Minch and Roy Thomas. Oh yeah, I love a lot of what they've done. I think like anybody else, they could hack it out a lot. They were so prolific because a lot of their stuff was not always the greatest. But I like Doug Minch on Moon Knight and well, of course, Master of Kung Fu, and Roy Thomas on a lot of stuff, FF many things. All-Star Squadron. What didn't he write? What didn't Roy Thomas write? Yeah, but the writing style, in terms of the prose style of the dialogue, what is that term? Purple prose. Wayne, not so bad. Wolfman, man, oh boy. Jerry Conway's a total hack and a nut job. But the writing styles, all of them, the writing is extraordinarily campy and over the top. Mantlo was kind of like that himself, especially and even with his captioning and the exposition. And the reason for it is these guys were all kids when they started reading these Stan Lee dialogued comics. When Stan Lee would take fully plotted stories done by Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and even Larry Lieber and Don Heck and people like that, and put in his own little words. And if you look at those words and the words balloons now, if you look in now, and 60 years later, some really cringy stuff. And I totally agree with that. D-Bud, Roy Thomas is the best Conan writer of comics. I mean, I can't put him above Robert E. Howard, buddy, but yeah. But all these guys, comics are a very incestuous art form. A lot of people who were writing comics in the in early 70s into the 80s and stuff were trying to write like Stan. Their dialogue was right out of Stan, and it's cringy stuff, and it doesn't hold up over time. The ideas, the stories, the art, the concepts, and all that stuff, the characters all hold up, and they're still wonderful. I love them. But a lot of those writers wrote that way because it was what they thought they needed, the way they were told to write, the way they thought they should write. Then along comes Alan Moore, who at the time, he himself was a Stan Lee fan as well. He later started, learning more about him. But some other writers too, Don McGregor, sometimes even Steve Gerber, sometimes even Doug Minch, kind of broke out of that mold a little bit. But Alan Moore just shattered it. Frank Miller, also when he finally started writing, he started writing his own stuff. Those guys had every respect, but they didn't write their dialogue or anything like. They didn't try to copy Stan, especially Alan Moore with his incredible poetry that he would write, in his Swamp Thing and other things he would write. So those guys broke out of that mold. And Alan Moore said in an interview in 1985, he talked about how, even though he's nuts now, he loved comics then. He grew up reading all the same comics that they did. He was a little bit younger than some of those guys, like who wrote in the 70s. But he grew up loving comics, but he didn't try to, just because he loved the imagination of Kirby and Ditko and people like that. But he he started writing, he didn't try to write like Stan. He tried to write like something. He said, if you think about it, they asked him about his writing technique and his writing. They said, if you think about it as a writer and not a comic book writer, if you read, he said, you got to go way outside the comics mainstream, read books, listen to music, go and be inspired by lots of other things other than comic books. Whereas most writers were writing the comics that they read when they were kids. They were just rewriting all the comics they read when they were kids. Alan Moore's approach to comic book characters and concepts was coming outside of that. Even though he had read a lot of those same comics, he was approaching it from another angle, which is why he wrote so many brilliant things. Even though, yes, they were deconstructionist and they did a lot of damage that he could not have foreseen. I don't care what a nutty is now. He and even Miller didn't care as much, but Moore's actually lamented this, but neither Miller or Moore knew what kind of damage they were causing. They were just trying to do the best comics they could do, the best work they can do. I believe that. It just, turned out the way it did. All right, Jay, man, have a good one, buddy. But Alan Moore, if you read his comics, his dialogue, Miller's dialogue, Grant Morrison's, even to an extent, Neil Gaiman, whoever, and some of those other guys later didn't. They had every respect, but they did not try to copy Stan. The guys in the 70s did. That's what made Alan Moore stand out, and a lot of Frank Miller's writing stand out. And then later, some of the guys who came in a little bit after them, even some of the ones who were just getting into the business Alan was there. When Alan was there, they started seeing what Alan and Frank and some of those guys were doing. And then some of the guys at independent comics, like when Grell started doing his own stuff, like on John Sable, when some of the other artists, like, Mike Barron with Nexus and stuff like that, and even Dave Sim with Cerebus, and the independent comics of the 80s started influencing writers around that point. Pat Mills was a deconstructionist big time, Hungry Boy. But later, some of these artists who started coming into the business in the mid 80s and into the 80s and 90s, they stopped trying to copy some of those Stan type techniques and started trying to be a little bit more close to what Miller and Moore were doing, and it did help. And then all of a sudden into the 90s, even though there weren't a lot of great, not tons and tons of great comics, we ended up with a lot of great stuff. Kurt Busiek was in the business in the early 80s, but somehow, some way, this is a guy who wrote some of the most brilliant comics ever to be conceived of. And I think things on a level with Moore's work, and in fact, I might say some of Busiek's best stuff is better than Moore's best stuff. I know that's coming from me, the ultimate Alan Moore fanatic. Marvels was a brilliant idea. Marvels was fantastic, but his Astro City, I know I rave about it too much on this show. Kurt Busiek's Astro City, at its finest, at its best, is probably better than anything Moore did, because it was brilliant without being deconstructionist. Moore had to be deconstructionist to do great stuff like, not some Swamp Thing a little bit, definitely on Watchmen, not some of his other more mainstream DC stuff. So he didn't always do deconstruction. Now, Michelle, the answer to your question is it's very complicated, but yes, the answer is yes, you were correct. I'm not really going into it too much here tonight because it's a big, big can of worms, but I do have a lot of issues with Stan Lee in terms of who took credit and stuff like that. But I don't really go into that, open that can. I make my jokes here, but I don't go into that can of worms that much around here these days. It's just so much. It just takes so long. D-Bud says, stop mentioning all those first comics titles. It gives me memories of when comics were so much better. Yes, because they were, buddy. In the 80s, they were so much better. Fanty says, I think it was a House of Mystery. They said a tale told by Wolfman with a code. They couldn't use Wolfman, but they said it's his actual name. Oh, yeah, Marv Wolfman. Yeah, that's right. Hungry Boy said, the Moore clones annoyed me more than the Lee clones. They wanted to be dark without the academic BG of Moore. Yeah, that's true. A World Made of Cardboard says, in your opinion, who is the greatest comic book writer? Can their work survive in other media? I would say it's probably Alan Moore. He probably wrote the most brilliant stuff ever in comics, but Kurt Busiek wrote stuff that's maybe arguably just as good, if not better. But for his body of work, maybe a little bit to more. But Busiek, and again, I don't know. But they're brilliant writers, both of them. And although Alan Moore doesn't claim any of his stuff now. So I mean, look, there are a lot of people who don't like Alan Moore. I get it. My dear departed buddy, Mark C. He had issues with. We had a plan. We were planning to do a show where we debate Alan Moore one day, and Watchmen. But I have to say, I have to put Alan Moore right up there at the top. But Kurt Busiek's done stuff right up there with him, in my opinion. But yeah, but I appreciate that question. Absolutely. Michelle, thank you. But it's just, I joke about Stan. It gets because if people take it out of context, they just think you're a monster talking about a guy who's passed away. Now, I was doing this for decades before Stan passed away, but now that he's gone, it becomes even more sensitive to people. Think of it like this. It's like dumping all over Santa Claus for people, because Santa Claus, as I call him, he happens to be Santa Claus to a lot of men in their 50s, and you can't blaspheme him without getting in trouble. Now, if some people will hear you out and hear you, let you elaborate on it, but it generally creates bad feelings, and they don't want to hear it. You're just a jerk if you don't buy into the Stan Kool-Aid. And I don't, and I'm not going to make any pretense that I do. I just don't. Other than making a few cracks here and there or talking about it seriously for a few minutes, it's just such a can of worms that I try not to. I try not to go too far down that rabbit hole when I can. I'm going to make my cracks. Now, again, before the gentleman passed, especially over there when I was over on my Blog Talk Radio show, I went nuts on him. I went, and I didn't care. It was pretty bad. My pleasure, Michelle, though. Yeah, but look, I do appreciate the question, though. Yes, Chris. Stan created Santa Claus. A World Made of Cardboard, yes. The Watchmen movie is not anywhere in a class with the comic book. It's Cliff Notes. It's cheeseburger to the Watchmen's filet mignon. I mean, it's yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, it doesn't measure up in any way to the comic. It's Watchmen light. It screws with things here and there. Great retro blasting. What's up, buddy? How's it going, man? Good to see you, bud. All right, man. How's it going, man? Yeah, he says when people blindly worship Stanley, I get just as irritated when they worship Bob Kane. The thing is, Michael, I do too, as you well know, but nobody else does. So few people do. Look, Bob Kane has got his comeuppance, at least in geek parlance, because he's reviled by anybody that knows anything about comics and geek. I mean, you find me a Bob Kane defender out there. I'll wait. You're not going to find one. You're never going to find anyone to argue with you that Bob Kane didn't screw Bill Finger over and wasn't a total phony. You just want, maybe you can, I don't know, but you'd be hard pressed to find one. Unfortunately, there are people that, because of the way because Bob Kane was Bob Kane didn't have the power Stan had. Bob Kane got paid because his father made a deal for him, who was his father was a fairly canny shyster lawyer who managed to negotiate that deal for Bob, but Bob never had any real editorial power like Stan. Stan was an editor. Stan was working for Martin Goodman. Stan had control, and when you're the editor, when you're in control, you can do whatever you want. So what's an old thing? History is written by the winners. The big boss can do whatever they want, and the little guy ain't gonna be able to fight the company. And when Marvel eventually morphed into this gigantic monstrosity of a company, Stan was no longer completely empowered, but he was the figurehead. He was Mr. Presents. Stan Lee presents things he has nothing to do with, every comic book. And Marvel found him useful for that. And of course, he rode the gravy train, and that's why you buck it now, and you get in trouble. I mean, you're fighting the big corp. So Stan won that fight, and he's even expressed some things toward the end of his life where he believed that Jack deserved more credit, different things like that. But he's the reason why Jack and Steve Ditko and others got screwed over. And I'll argue that to the death. And I'm not just saying it idly. I've done the research for 30-something years on this stuff. I do not call myself an expert. I do not call myself an historian or any of that stuff. But I have still done, when I say research, I won't use the word research. I've just followed this story, this fight between who did what, this credit fight, and the fight between not only Stan and Jack, but Jack and the big monster company, Marvel, that Steve Ditko and others, the big fight between them and what Marvel did to them. When I say Marvel, I'm not just talking Stan, although, he could have helped, but if he would have been, he may have ended up in the same boat as them. I don't know. He just decided to be the figurehead after originally being the carnival barker. Kal-El, what's up, buddy? So I'm not going to say I'm any kind of an expert, but I've been following this since the mid 80s. When I first started learning about it, and I've read, as many interviews, read as many texts, look at what everybody's saying, all involved. Was I there? No. But reading as many books on the subject, as many interviews by all of them, include all sides, all opinions from all angles, and I make up my mind by saying I just believe the Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko side of it. That's that. If you say, were you there? No, I wasn't. That's my belief. And there are others who run from that. And even if you just say, look, you believe Stan all you want, I believe Jack, I believe Steve Ditko and others, they're gonna call you. They're gonna call you a lot of names and be a total jackass to you. And you get treated like shite in certain. A lot of the comic book historians, who I guess like for Marvel to be nice to them, they toe the Stan line. A lot of the magazines, they won't, they just do. I mean, when we're talking about, even though Marvel almost once went bankrupt, now they're big business. So I am, like I said, I'm no expert, but everything I've read points to one side. And again, that's all I can say about that. Retrobus, the sheer number of lawsuits against Marvel fighting for credit proves your point immensely. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's not just Marvel. Marvel and DC. Look at these. Let me tell you something. We love these. When I say I love Marvel and DC, I mean I love the characters. These companies these characters they own them by crook. These companies, and this is nothing. It's probably not. This is certainly not the only industries that are. You could say this about. It's, all of human existence is like this. But the two big companies, just take the two sets of characters from Marvel and DC alone, the big two as they call them, are built on blood, the blood of creators that they got screwed over. We have a few scant instances where now some of their ancestors are reaping some benefits of their creations. Tiny little bitty, tidbits. Oh boy, we got a bot. Yay. Little chunks. But for the most part, the billions upon billions of bucks that was generated by all of these creators, and granted, in some cases they didn't know what they were creating was going to be worth. The stuff is, but that's no excuse. Stan outed himself in an interview when he said that Jack, he admitted in the Fireside book, first of all, he's on record with 2 different stories with the Silver Surfer. That's just the tip of the iceberg there, Phantom. But yes, in the Fireside book, Origins of Marvel Comics, he admitted that Jack created the Silver Surfer. And a few years later, in a Marvel feature interview, he talked about how he created him. And let's see old Jackson draw this one. He did it all the time. That's just one of the few examples of the lies he used to spread all over. He's a master of lies. Also, I'm going to go out there and say, again, a lot of the I found new. I'm just going to put it like this. I found a new source of info of late over the past couple of months that I won't go into here in depth, but that have further convinced me that I'm right to be on this side. And again, it's just feelings, of course, I admit it, but it's coming from people who are doing even more research than I ever even could do, that are finding that I firmly believe Stan didn't have a creative bone in his body. I'm just going to say that. I don't believe it. He's admitted, and Jack and others have said Stan was never a reader. Jack was a reader of science fiction and many other types of things. Stan, was not a reader, and Stan was not creative. But myths are created by the winners. I mean, there are people to this day that think that Stan Lee came up with the phrase, "With great power comes great responsibility." No, he stole it from a friggin' movie. And that movie stole it from something many years ago. It's been, and again, I could dig it up for you. I don't have it in front of me now. That's just recently been been talked about before. But I guarantee if you ask 90% of people who've heard that phrase, and if you ask them who said it, they're going to say Stan Lee came up with it. He put it in a comic book, but he didn't come up with it. That's just the tip of the iceberg. See, I wasn't going to go down that rabbit hole, but when you get me on Stan, it's not tough for me to stop. It's tough for me to stop. I've been reading and discovering a lot of things now that you would just, if I said them to you, you would just, whether you believe them or not, I don't know, but you would just be blown away by things about that man. But again, this will get me called a hater and all kind of other things from people. I hear you, Hungry Boy. I love the Fireside books. I love them, even though they have Stan's name on them. But yeah, what doesn't? So, but yeah, look, these characters I love. The companies are despicable, and it's not just Marvel. National periodical publications before they were really, legally, technically DC Comics screwed Fawcett, screwed a lot of other people over. And Fawcett was no. Hey, they were just as predatory. All these companies were run by gangsters in the 30s and 40s. Some of them were fronts for gangsters. Some of the earliest comic book publishers were fronts for the mob. Now, so I guess it just makes sense that they were evil and screwed people over and chewed people up and spit them out. They chewed up creative people who, were just trying to find an outlet for their creativity and make a living. In the golden age. That's why I love reading about of course, don't love it in the sense it's terrible, but it's why I've always been so fascinated with comic book history and reading about, the backstage stuff of what went on in the comics. That's why I love TwoMorrows and all those magazines, Alter Ego, Back Issue, and all their magazines, the Jack Kirby Collector and all that stuff. It's fascinating. Comic book history is fascinating to me. Not to most people, I get it, but to me it is, So I had to cough there for a minute. Kal-El says, Clobberin times. That's because some people would rather believe an idyllic version of history rather than the actual truth in the comics industry and elsewhere. It's part of life. You're absolutely right there, Kal-El, Steve. That's true. I mean, people would rather just believe it. Again, like I said, I put it to you like this, and I've thought about this a lot. Santa Claus, when you're a child, I can't even remember the optimum age that a kid is told that there's no Santa Claus. So if anybody in my audience hasn't been told that yet, I apologize. But you're a kid. We all got over it because I can't even remember when I learned about it. I don't know what age I was. I don't know. So some of you might know what age you were. I don't know. I don't know what age I was. Now imagine, but what if you have that belief? Imagine a similar belief. Now, obviously, a belief that's less easy. In other words, it's easy to debunk the Santa Claus one, right? to a child. But imagine one that you can't debunk so easily, so you don't bother, meaning Santa Claus. Because you weren't there. It's more complicated. And imagine trying to debunk that to a 45 or 50-year-old individual who's carried it with them all their life. They love comics. I mean, they may be really wonderful, well-established people. There are. I know some cool people that I love to death that I've heard talk, like on whether it's on podcasts or shows or here and there, that will talk and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, when Stan Lee did this and when Stan Lee did that," when they're are they evil or wrong or bad or stupid? No. But they haven't done the, they for whatever reason just bought into it and just read comics and enjoyed them. They didn't care about deep diving on any stuff. And that's all, look, I'm not knocking any of those people. I'm not naming names either, but I'm just saying when they do that, I mean, I'm listening to them, I always go, but it's like sticking a needle in my ear. I'm like, oh no, it's not their fault. But these are guys, closer to, in some cases, close to my age. And they've never done the legwork on it. And for whatever reason, why should they? They're busy running their, why wouldn't they? Again, I do think if you're in this sort of a show doing this kind of stuff, you should inform yourself on such things. But, it's more trouble than it's worth. I don't know. But imagine trying to talk to people like that, even though some of them are fine. I'm friendly with them. All of my friends in my circle that I know, that I've known in my real life experiences for the past, geek experiences for the past 20, 30, 40 years, whatever that, because they know me, they know the truth. But a lot of people that, that I meet more recently that didn't know me, they don't know all these things about Santa Claus. And when you try to tell them, they're like, what? And they just think, even if they're nice about it, they think you're just being one of these haters. They don't believe you. They'll laugh at you. They go, yeah, you're another one of those Kirby fanatics. You get called Kirby fanatics if you go against the Stan orthodoxy. And again, I always say I'm not going to talk about this stuff because I can get trouble on the show tonight. Get in trouble? I hope not. But, I sometimes, look, I've said 5 times I wasn't going to keep talking about Stan, and I kept doing it. You guys, how about maybe I need to make up a no Stan mentioning policy, and it's none of your fault. It's mine for being a jagoff. Hungry Boy says that you can't easily that you can't debunk easily. That's be AFK and other politicos. Oh, that okay, yeah. If I accidentally debunked Santa Claus for anybody, I apologize. So yeah, that's the equivalent though. That's just the best analogy I can come up with. It's just because he is Santa he's as close as you can get for a 45, 50-year-old, 60-year-old man to Santa Claus. Because I've constantly heard people who do various types of geek shows that I really respect. I mean, some people who are in the business do it. Say, yeah, when Stan did this or when Stan did that, and Stan, and they would talk about him in these glowing terms with how I'm giving an example of how and it just makes me insane. Retro Blasting Buddy says, this is the equivalent of a guy in Renaissance Italy trying to tell people that the Pope wasn't the creator of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, but a dude named Michelangelo, and nobody believed him. It really is. And this guy has better press, or at least as good a press as the Pope. Michelle says, you'll be a little freaked at an encounter I had as a little girl in Ireland before my family came to America. Oh, well, I'm sure I would. Dave, what's up, Dave? I promise. That's the end of the Stan Lee talk. There we go. I promise. We could talk about Bob Kane and be safe. We could talk about Bob Kane and be safe. Everybody, Bob Kane sucks, by the way. Bob Kane screwed Bill Finger over. There you go. See, nothing can happen to me there. Although, did everyone know the story about how Jim Steranko bitch slapped Bob Kane? And he did it at a con, by the way. Yeah. And it's not much of a story. He just said he had a problem in an elevator or something like that, and he got pissed off at him. they had words, and basically Jim Steranko, um, excuse me, who was not a large man, and Bob Kane is a large man, smacked the shit out of him. That's cool. Mark D says, hi, at Retro Blasting, fixed my Star Wars troop transport tonight. Thanks for the video. Yeah. Strayko, he's not only an escape artist, but he is a hero. Coughing fits for no reason. So, yeah. Well, this is open comics talk, so let's see here. Can anyone think of a any comic topic to bring up tonight that I can address that has nothing to do with Stan Lee? Yeah, look, I love Steranko. I wish I'd have got to meet him when I went to Dragon Con and stood in front of his table for like almost 40 minutes when he was talking to a guy and I couldn't get to him. I wanted to buy a book, but anyway. Retro Blastic says, the guy that did all the concept paintings for Raiders of the Lost Ark and punched Bob Kane. Yes, he did. Yeah, very true. I still have that issue of his magazine, Media Scene Preview, where it has all those Raiders pictures in it. I love Media Scene Preview. Very, very cool stuff. Yeah. Great artist. I love his Captain America even more than his Nick Fury stuff, but his Nick Fury stuff was pretty damn great. He did a little X-Men too. The thing about Steranko, and I have his original printings of his Steranko History of Comics Volume 1 and 2. Big ass, bigger than Treasury editions. Big, they're staple back, but they're gigantic, and I love them. But he did a lot of covers too, but he didn't really hang around comics too long, did he? But he was excellent. What you doing, Mark Deere? I'll shoot you a link if you feel like hanging. If not, no biggie. I know you're probably a busy man, so don't worry about it. But I feel like I got to put the offer out there no matter what. Yes, I can. I can tell us about your thoughts. Oh, I can tell us about your thoughts on the effect, if any, radio dramas had on the success of comics in the early days. It's a chicken the egg scenario, and I can never decide which is the chicken. And the effect on comics. Did they have? I think. Let's see. I think they did have an effect on comics. I never really thought about that, but I would think they did have a pretty good effect on comics, Michael, because a lot of the guys who were just starting to write the comics that were pulpish, radio shows, as you know, predate regular mainstream, crime and superhero comics by quite a bit. So I think they affect them in the sense that a lot of the people who were starting to write the comics of the mid to late 30s and into the 40s and 50s, when television was radio shows, were immensely affected by it because it was what influenced them. They listened to the Green Hornet and the Lone Ranger, and of course the Shadow and stuff like that, and basically copied a lot of that stuff off of the radio shows into the comics. And of course, also they based a lot of their stuff on the pulps that they read as well. But a lot of the radio shows were taken, conversely, a lot of the radio shows were taken from pulps. So that would be my non-researched, off the cuff, totally speculative opinion on that. All right, a world made of cardboard. Thank you for being here, buddy. Appreciate you. Hungry Boy, you worked in comics in the 30s. How old? Yeah, actually, a little bit closer to the 80s, but I'm going to say that. Yeah, so that would be again. I don't know. Again, what are your thoughts on that, Michael? Do you agree, disagree? What do you think? Because just as TV was influential and movies have been influential, whatever, radio shows, even though, pulps were pretty influential on a lot of radio shows and vice versa, I think radio shows are very influential on comic books. In fact, I know, look, Superman and Batman first met on a radio show before they met in comics on the Adventures of Superman radio show. A couple other things were first, I believe, in the Superman radio show before they made it into comic books. So that's just my basic whatever. I've never really thought about it before, to be honest. It's a great question, though. I think radio had such a reach that it allowed them to advertise the comics to kids who otherwise wouldn't have been aware. Yeah, but that's a good point. Yeah. And then, of course, comics and radio, movie serials were big too. So it's funny how many movie serials adapted comic books. Of course, you had, let's see. So superhero radio shows likely helped raise awareness of the comics themselves. I think that's true. Larry, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, Larry. Movie serials adapted. Buck Rogers, of course, was a pulp in the 40s, and you had the Buster Crab Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, of course, the comic strip. That was a comic strip. Comic strips really, and pulps, but comics also. Definitely influenced movie serials. Mark D with the CC. What's up, dude?
Hey, good evening. Sorry,
hey, man.
I was lurking while fixing my Imperial
no problem.
troop transport. So,
you're fixing the troop transporter.
Yeah,
cool.
Well, shout out to Retrobrass, and I did a video today, and I said, let me try to fix this, and let me Google. It's always good to check the YouTubes, and of course, the first video that came up was Michael's video, so it's always easier to look through that, and I got the sucker working, so it was much appreciated and great to have that going. So later on, maybe after we talk comics, I could show it. But
please do. It
was fun to get those voices going again. God, it sounds so good. Brings back some good memories. So
cool.
Yeah. But now the thing is, I've taken it apart like 3 or 4 times. I could field strip an Imperial, troop transport pretty quickly now because I put it together. I wasn't sure about some things, took it apart, and a few other times. So it's nice. It's pretty fun to get to know that toy inside and out. But it's very cool.
All right, Mark Seth, have a good one. Thank you for being here, bud. Well, cool. Yeah, you can show us that whenever you're ready. I mean, I was just saying, movie serials, though, they were highly influenced by both pulps and comic strips and comic books. Look at all the movie serials that were based on those types of characters. I mean, Green Hornet had a movie serial, The Shadow, of course, Tarzan, based on books, of course, Buck Rogers, based on pulps, Flash Gordon, based on strips. Yeah, Captain Marvel had a movie serial, Superman, Batman, Black Hawk, Captain America.
Marvel was great.
Captain America had one. Yeah, Dick Tracy also had one. Yeah, Michelle, that's true. So they were. Yeah, they're all kind of flowed into each other. So here we go. We got the troop transporter by Mark. We'll see. It's not technically comics related, but there have been Star Wars comics, so we'll allow it. Was Dick Tracy a comic character? It was a comic strip character, Michelle. By a creator by the name of Chester Gould. So he was a comic strip character, but it's close enough. Yes.
Yeah, kind
of. That's what he did. Yeah, he originated in comic strips.
When did that first Star Wars comic come out? How far after them was that? That wasn't before the movie.
Star Wars comic? No, it was right around the same time of the movie. It was right. I think the first issue came out around the same time the movie came out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Right, roughly the same time. I can't give you the exact date, though.
Yeah.
Look at that.
there is a troop transport. So the cool thing about this is it never appeared in the movie. Well, now it's been, brought into canon. So they've had it in some of the. I think it was in some of the Star Wars cartoons first.
Well, did they have one on the Mandalorian or something?
And then they had it on the Mandalorian, yeah. So you've got a door here where you can have your stormtrooper can hide in there or drive in there, excuse me. And I'm missing.
Keely Chow, roll tide.
Hey, Keely. I got to order some new stickers, which is cool. On Fleabay, you can get, people sell the stickers for it. So the stickers, and of course, this door is trash, or gone. I shouldn't say trash, but lost in a battle, I guess, with the rebels. So I can replace that on eBay.
Hey, Matt G.
Hell. So
this is cool, man.
It's very cool. Yeah. So there's a door in the back that pops out.
I see a battery. I know that wasn't.
Yeah, the battery cover's missing too. So
no battery cover. You can find that somewhere.
Cover. I'll get them buy that too. So or a 3D print one. But
so this is a vintage, right?
This is vintage. Yep. They did reintroduce it.
Would this be cheating? A retro blasting. If he 3D prints a battery cover, is that cheating? I'm just kidding.
As long as I don't sell it as new, and I don't want to. I don't want to lower the gate all the way down here. I mean, I'm sure it has, but it's towards 40 plus years. 40 plus years old. So what it is, it's when they molded this. They did one mold for the whole base. You want to make toys as cheap as possible. So this is just a plastic hinge here. It's not a physical hinge, but just, a great way to do it cheaply. So they could print one whole mold for the base piece. And then you've got another mold for the top piece here. And then, of course, these pieces are all the same. So it's really only 3 pieces in the mold. And then, of course, you've got, the gun and the radar dish here. So you can turn the radar dish. And there's a gear, just simple gearing in there.
He said, nope, that's the only way these toys will survive, by fans making new parts. Anyone telling you anything else is deluded. Indeed. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, by the way. I don't blame. I was just messing with him here, but I hear you. That's cool.
Yeah, as long as you don't sell it as say, oh, this is vintage.
Yeah, I know. I was just screwing around.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, but yeah. So it is, and I don't know if you can hear the sound. I might have to turn off my noise cancellation. Let's see.
Can't hear anything.
All right, I got to turn off the filter here. So here we go. Which is pretty cool, actually. It blocks all that room noise. Yeah, the filter's off now. It's really loud, actually.
Wow. Cool. Wow. So where's the why does it have R2? Why does it have R2 noise?
Well, because you could. This is supposed to be a. You're supposed to capture.
You can put R2 in there and capture.
Yeah, you can put R2. Yeah, you can put R2 in here. Yep.
Shows what I know.
Yeah, you can't fit 3PO in there. He's too short. You can only fit R2. So the instruction sheets actually show that.
Was this done with the original line, or was it Empire, Jedi? Which one was first?
It was 79.
79 line.
Yeah,
and then the original line, huh?
And then they came out with a version for Empire Strikes Back, and then Sears had a version where they took out. It's a little record player in here, which is crazy. It's amazing.
When did you get this?
Actually, a friend gave this to me years ago. It was one of my buddies. We'd play with Star Wars toys and stuff. He's like, "I'm gonna throw my Star Wars stuff out. Do you want my Star Wars stuff?"
What? He was throwing this out?
Yeah. He asked me first. He's like, "I'm gonna throw." We were kids, so I never had this. This is my buddies. From I had Star Wars toys too, but so I got a set of Battlestar Galactica Vipers and
oh, cool,
Cylons too, which I've shown before. Let's see if we get C-3PO to speak here. Let's see.
This was 1979. In the Empire line, they call it the Imperial Cruiser and deleted the electronics. Wow.
Yeah, it's a Sears exclusive. I have the catalog, which is fun with this in. It's a Sears exclusive. That's right. Yeah,
we've had some fun looking at those catalogs. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, those catalogs.
Wow.
So once I buy the stickers
That's
too, what
cool.
you have on the top, the only surviving sticker is 3PO. So as you go around, It's tough. It's kind of tough to see. That's like, come on, camera focus.
The screw.
Get more light on it. But see how that's see. No, actually, that's the way it was. Yeah. So the screws weren't covered up. Sometimes they would put stickers on toys, but yeah, those were showing. So that's C3PO there. Then you've got these stickers. So you've got the 6 different sound effects. And a lot of times it messes up.
Bad shape and you rebuilt it or what?
Well, it wasn't actually. I just cleaned it up.
You were saying something earlier about some beeper.
Well, it wasn't.
Rebuilt it or what?
Well, the sound wasn't working. So if you watch Michael's video, I'll post it in the chat. So basically, what happens is it's crazy. It's a little record player. So it's a mini record player. I took pictures of it. I'll show them. Another time when I edit them. Yeah. But there's a little mini record player. So you push this button, and it connects to the battery, and it plays the sound effect. And there's a mechanism inside where it selects just the part of the record to play corresponding to the sound effect. There's all kinds of cams in the around the record player, really all plastic, but amazing design. So there's a little needle and a little speaker, and the speaker's not just amplifies the record sound, kind of like an old style record. And it's not an electronic. The only thing that's electronic is the motor. It's just the motor spinning. And the speaker is non-powered, but it's big enough. My wife from the other room was, "What's that noise in there? What are you doing? It's too loud." So wow. It's really loud. So and it works great. And I kind of like that static too. It's it's real retro, right? You get that static sound. So it's a great toy. So it's great. So what happens is the motor, there's a little teeny motor in there, which I guess you could replace if you wanted to. It wouldn't take much, but what happens over time, it freezes up. So I just put some lubricant on it to you can spin it. I took the record player side off. There's a rubber band which I can't believe it survived for 40 years. So I took that side off, and you can spin it by hand. You kind of free up the motor. I put some lube in there, and she's good to go. So it's
nice.
Yep. So there we go.
Very cool. Love it.
Thank you to Retro Blessing for
yes, indeed.
Because when you take these things apart too, it's it's nerve wracking. You don't want to break anything either. It's old plastic, and you're right trying to see what what all the pieces are. And the bottom part, there's a hinge in the back here, which is keyed, which is a great design. So you just have to flip the bottom part 90 degrees, and you can take it off. But if you try to take it off any other way, you're gonna snap it. So it's a nice nice design. But if you don't know the tricks to take it apart, you could mess it up.
That's right, Chris Persia. He said, Mark, is that when you said it's nothing, honey? I'm just testing my collectibles.
Yeah, what's that noise in there? What's that noise?
Because I could never do anything. I'm horrible with this kind of crap, but I just love watching Michael's restoration videos. And anyone, if you haven't seen Retro Blasting restoration videos, whether you are any good at that stuff or not, or even have any interest in just doing that stuff, it's fun watching it. It's amazing putting the toys back together. All of his videos are fantastic. He does great stuff, and it's just those are really fun to watch. And I'm always envious of him being able to do that. He has a great attention to detail, which you have to have if you're going to spend time, restoring these old toys. So it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's much appreciated. And, it's what YouTube. What's great about YouTube. So it's great to see that stuff. And you got to save these old things and fix them, so they don't get thrown out or someone say, "Oh, it doesn't work," But those sound effects are so cool.
Look
so
who's here. Hey, Jack's mama. Hey. Everyone, that is of course Jack's mama, part of the family of our dear departed wonderful friend Mark C., whom our show is perpetually and always will be named after on Monday nights. Jack's mama, it is good to see you, my dear. I hope you are doing well, and you and the family are doing okay. I hope you and the family had a marvelous Thanksgiving, my dear. It's good to see you. Thanks for popping in to say hi. We appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you for stopping in. Yep. Hope you had a
Indeed.
good Thanksgiving. Yep.
This is cool though, man. I love it. I love stuff like this.
Oh, and the one thing that messed me up when doing this too was in the back there's a switch, and I thought it would turn the voices on and off. So I'm looking at the wiring, not to get too far into the weeds, but it's just it's positives and negative, and there's some resistors to slow down, I guess, the speed of the voices. So all the only thing the switch does is change the speed of the voices. So I thought it would turn I wasn't paying attention, and I turned off the I went to turn it off. I'm like, it's still working. I must have wired something wrong, and so I took it apart, put it all back, and then I finally looked at, you look at the wiring, you're like, oh. And then I found the instructions online. It says it just slows the voices up or down. Like, why would they add that as a feature to to do that? It's just crazy. Yeah. So
with those record systems, you never fully disassemble first. You peel it like an onion and see if an adjustment at that layer solves the issue. And once it's working, you button it back up. Says retro blasting. There you go.
Yeah, I was trying to get the one side of the record system was totally locked, and I couldn't get it off like you did in your video. So I just took the other side off and was careful. And what I had to do was there's a rubber band or O-ring in there, and I had to use a long, thin screwdriver to pull it out and put it over the post or the axle that drives the system and slide it back in. So it was really tricky, but I didn't want to take that side off. But
like a true engineer, you are an actual engineer. You are an engineer, so you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
putting it yourself to the test on the toys there.
Yeah, and I should have known the schematic by just looking at it that it wasn't going to turn it on, turn the thing off. But I'm like, I put it together. I was trying to. You always label things. I used the marker to mark, which color wires. I'm like, did I do it right? Did I, So, but yeah, it's working. But yeah, taking that thing apart. Yeah, follow. I'll put the link in, but try to take the other side apart. Yeah, don't take that record side off. If you can avoid it. Yeah. And you can spin it tough way, what Michael did, he spun it with a pencil with the eraser to get the motor going again. So that's
when was this video? I don't know.
I think it was 6 years ago. I think actually
6 years ago. Okay, it's been a while. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, hey, the info's always always it doesn't change, right? Yep. Let me find. Here we go. I got it's in my history here.
You put it in the.
Yeah, I got to put it in the chat. Yep.
This will be, of course, there's also a link to Michael's. This is a link to this video of Michael's retro blasting, and of course, I can't imagine anyone here isn't already, but anyone who is not subscribed to Retro Blasting, you are missing out big time. Please go and subscribe to their fantastic channel. It's the best. It's the best. Love it. So many great things in there.
Oh, sorry, I'm laughing at Phantom's comment. It found resistors. Did he inform Lord Vader? He's always looking for those to resist the Empire. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go, Deuterishness. Yeah, very cool stuff.
Working, yeah.
Like it, yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So, well, what else is going on? We're gonna let's see, comics wise anyway. This is sort of
a new stack of comics in today, but you don't want to know.
You're still getting new crap? I guess we can make fun of you. We can make fun of your new crap.
My new crap, yeah. I got Action Comics.
You deserve it for buying new stuff.
I deserve it.
All right, everybody. Our special segment we call "Making Fun of Mark for Buying New Comics."
Yeah, here we go. Yep. Let me go back over. I'll just let me pull the
wasting paper with the rest of them. Of course, not a lot of paper since they don't print very many of them now. If you know what I'm saying? Am I right?
Compared to what they used to be, yeah.
Yeah, Ginger Ninja. Oh my goodness, the Ginger Ninja's here. Let's visit with Ginger Ninja for a minute. I want to thank you so much, Ginger Ninja. For those who do not know, and we announced it the other night on Saturday Night Star Trek, our great friend, the Bronze Wrencher, Eric K., went right behind my back, the big sneak, with sneaking around and in cahoots with the great artist Ginger Ninja to make me a present. And Eric, You were too kind. And Ginger Ninja, you've done a marvelous job. This picture isn't the best. I couldn't really get a good picture of it, but as far as my camera, but he made this for me, and Eric framed it. This picture of the Fantastic Four, but as you can see, Ginger Ninja is a marvelous artist. No pun intended. But Ginger Ninja is a great artist, and I love it. I really do love it. Again, I cannot thank Eric enough or you enough, my friend. And of course, Ginger Ninja you do have a channel, of course, right? If we can, anyone knows, if anyone could get Ginger Ninja's link to this channel, of course, just a magnificent artist, and I cannot thank you enough.
That's
Both
amazing work.
Eric.
It looks great.
Amazing stuff. Well, you know how I love the Thing, so I'm so shocked. It is just beautiful work, and well, again, it will hang with the rest of all of my, and I have a lot, believe me, of FF art all over the place. So marvelous job there, Ginger Ninja. Thank you so much. Great stuff, buddy. And I'm honored to have your work forever hanging on my wall. Oh, and thank you, D. Bud Martin. He put a link in the chat. And if anyone is not already subscribed to Ginger Ninja, please go over to his channel and subscribe. I would appreciate that.
That was very cool. Yep, really nice. Yep.
I know. I'm pretty sure I know I'm subscribed.
Yeah, I'm sub too. Yep.
I know I'm subscribed, but every time I thought I'll check sometimes, but I will. I'll check.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes that.
But I've been unsubbed to people before, I think. But
yeah, I got unsubbed from Doomcock like a couple times. Yeah. So.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. So here's the paint. Well, this This is not too bad. All right, this is not too bad here. Come on. So this is.
Hang on a second. What you got? Let me
get back to my StreamYard tab here.
We're gonna look at some now. So we see that great art by Ginger Ninja. Now we're gonna look at some ugly modern day art. Except for this, I can't believe you bought this. That's a new. Reprint book there.
Yep, new old. Yep. So
that's
they're reprinting
that's the book. Miracle Man reprinting the old. I think aren't they? They're reprinting the Neil Gaiman. After Alan Moore's Miracle Man finished. You all are friends with Michelle. Yes, I am friends with Doomcock. He's a very dear friend of mine, and we're a friend. You know, I go on occasionally. I'm honored to be on his show with him many times. I have been many times, and yes, love Doomcock. He's a very dear friend of mine. Let's see here. So Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham took over after Alan Moore had said all that it need be said about Marvel Man / Miracle Man, the character, back in the 80s. And so for some reason, Neil Gaiman came on in the late 80s, early 90s, whatever it was, and continued the series. And
then it stopped. And I think they did 5 or 6 issues. Yep.
Right. Then it stopped. And I didn't really buy. I just said, Alan Moore's gone. I'm gone. I'm not touching it. So I didn't buy any of them. And now they are reprinting those. Marvel's reprinting them. I think Gaiman actually owns it now.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna continue the story.
But then they're finishing it. They're gonna actually reprint what they started and finish it.
Yeah.
But this year might be the reprint issue. I'm not sure.
Yep. So that's not a bad cover. So.
See, I thought I was subscribed to Ginger Ninja, but I am now for sure. And I'm looking at his page now. Ginger Ninja has a fantastic page with great videos and stuff. Please, everyone, go subscribe to that.
This is kind of a rip-off.
I swore I was, Ginger, but, like I say, let's see here. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here? Oops. Sorry. I meant to turn it.
Captain Marvel number 5. So Peter David is back to writing this.
Okay, let's see. Peter David's is doing Genisville.
Yep.
That's a rip-off of the Death of Captain Marvel cover.
Yeah. So
Jim
that's a
Starlin,
cool cover, but it is a rip-off.
Jim Starlin did not do that cover, though.
But you've got Thor. That's the Thor as Galactus's Herald outfit there, and I
I
guess
hate all
don't know who,
that's disgusting with all those
yeah,
crappy uniforms,
yeah, and I guess is
costumes.
that supposed to be Miles Morales? I don't know.
Yeah, I
You got
guess. I don't
Sam
know.
Cap, is that Doctor Strange? Or
Is that supposed to be
oh
Thor?
no,
Thor?
it's yeah, someone took they replaced Doctor
That's
Strange.
Doctor Girl Strange. Everybody's a
Yeah,
girl, or should
Iron Man.
is that
You got Iron Man, and who's
is that
that supposed to
Thor
be on
with
the
an
right?
axe? Why does Thor have an axe?
Oh, what does a god need
Who's
with an axe? I
would he
don't
be
know.
on the right? What? Who's on the right?
Is
So that's
that
supposed to be the
I don't know
Hulk.
who's next? Is that some kind of
Is
Hulk?
that She-Hulk?
Some kind of gamma rated?
That might be the She-Hulk. That's not Amadeus Cho, is it?
No, I don't think that's Cho. Could be though. I'll crack it open later. And
The
there's
art
some kind of
sucks. If that's,
Daredevil.
I hope it's not Jim Starlin slumming it. I don't think it is. It's just somebody ripping him off. I mean, but some artists have done that. Some artists have come back and they're like, that can't be him. They're just ripping him off, and it really was them. People's art styles change, but that looks like poopy diapers.
And Ben looks okay, I guess. Well, the face isn't that good.
Yeah.
But okay. But the
Let's
first
see.
few
The
issues
Son
are
of
pretty
Cat
good. I
Marvel
read
ripping
those.
off the Death of Cat Marvel. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Peter David, well, he needs the cash. You know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Midnight's Oblivion. Hey there, good to see you.
Yeah.
What in the holy hell am I looking at there?
Amazing Spider-Man: The Dark Web.
Is that Peter Parker?
I don't know. He's got some green radiation going on.
Jesus, that is killing my eyes.
That's
What
hurting, right? It's not even good art. So
Shitty art. I mean, look, I can't. I always say, but I can't draw flies, so I don't. I should not. But I can tell something I like and don't like. This bites. Andy Masterson, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Andy. I wonder what Hungry Boy thinks. He'd probably just gouged out his eyes.
Hungry Boy, how are you enjoying seeing this modern day, quote unquote, art? Don't lose it, buddy. Detective Comics. See, here's my problem with this. Is it nice work? Yes. I guess.
That's not bad, I think. That's not
bad. It just
bad.
doesn't feel like a comic book cover that much. It's just, I mean, it's okay. I just look at it and go, I don't think of a comic book. Woo. Hey, Glenzer.
It's not telling a story. It's not telling a story.
Up, Glenzer? Good to see you. Good to see you, Glenzer. Yeah, that's just nothing about that appeals to me. I mean, I'm not even saying it's terrible. I'm just.
It's not bad art, though, so it's not bad, but it doesn't.
I know. I mean, look,
if it's on the newsstand, you're not
really.
I gotta have that. I gotta have that.
Yeah, it's just not. Doesn't make me feel like a comic book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, what about this one? You got Crypto.
Don't ruin Crypto. Leave Crypto out of this, please. I have
Who's
battle. Is that Steel and other people?
Yep, Steel. They're facing the other way, so
yes,
tough to tell.
Yeah, that is a crappy, badly composed cover. They're covering up the word comics, which is, they think that's arty farty. I mean, the whole composition of this cover is garbage. They're tiny.
I guess that's
on a big look at all that nothing background. This is lazy shit. I think.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for Crypto, but and who's to the left of Steel? Who's that character? That's all metallic. Who could that be?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, I'm assuming that's Jonathan.
Classic Comics. What's up, buddy?
Far right. And Supergirl. I'm guessing the Superman, Supergirl.
Guess.
I don't know. Steel and Jonathan and Crypto.
Kal-El returns. What's up, Classic Comics? Good to see you. Yeah. I think the one on the right is that Superboy. Probably son,
Superboy
whatever.
now. Yeah, they gave him a cape.
Stupid son thing. Yeah.
Oh no, this one you're just gonna love. Oh no, Hungry Boy, close your eyes, okay, Hungry Boy.
Is that a female Steel? I don't know.
No.
Hungry Boy, don't look at this. What he said. Oh no. Comics are garbage, man. New comics are poop.
Nightwing. Nightmite.
Clobby says more help kill comics. I say the Wacom tablet did it. Whoever that is, I'm not arguing.
That's the tablet. That's how you draw. That's how you draw in Photoshop.
Okay,
yeah, you use a pen.
Well,
I have an old one for I used to use it for engineering.
Okay. I was supposed to know what that is. Look at Hungry Boy. Oh, jeez.
Does anyone want to buy this for me for $4?
Yikes! I mean, look, I don't know.
Well, it is kind of fun. Like, they have all these alternative covers. If the issue is good,
Yeah, you can't do good comics and make alternate covers.
Yeah, they have a bazillion alternate covers. So sometimes I forget to go in and look to see what covers I'm getting because there's so many damn. Because I have every issue, so I got to at least maybe I'll stop at 100. I don't know.
Completist.
I'm not buying that much anymore. So
completism.
Yeah. Wasn't LT doing that too? Or,
yeah, LT does it too. LT, I know you're probably not hearing about anymore, but LT was here earlier. But he buys a lot of comics. He still buys modern stuff, but I've heard him say he likes some of it too. So if you like something, fair enough. You even like any of this stuff?
Some of it's okay. A couple of issues. Well,
you haven't read anything recently?
Miracle Man has been good. Of course, they're reprinting, and the Peter David Marvel. That's been good. Yeah, that's been good. Gotcha. I love Peter David as a writer. He's great. Yeah. But, yeah. So it's and I do have some other. Oh God, I shouldn't show anything else.
No, do it if you want. I mean,
I have another stack I haven't even opened yet.
We are a comic show. Not that these are really comics.
It's a comic show, right? Yeah.
Well, you got another.
What's in this stack? Let's see. All right, here we go. Usually, what I do, I keep them, wrapped up until I enter them in my comic book collecting program. So I don't.
I cured myself of collecting completism back in the 90s. It's not good for you. Of course, again, it's also expensive. But this new stuff or what?
Yeah, this is new. Yep. X-Men Legends. So this is set.
Is that supposed to be long shot?
That's a long shot. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these are set during old.
Old,
the idea is fine.
Fan favorite era. Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe some of them are good.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea. See, they got to go back to the
Oliver Belamonte. What's that? Oliver? Oh my God, Wolverine looks.
That looks horrible.
What in the hell is he? Never mind.
Green.
What's the green crap on there?
I don't know. What is that? Is it a snake or something? Why did it have to be snakes?
I don't know. Looks like a Christmas wreath.
Yeah, that's not a particularly good cover.
Nail Messiah. What is up, buddy?
And I have every episode of every issue of Wolverine ever published, but maybe it should stop.
Every issue? Wow, ever made? Jesus Christ.
I think so, yeah. Well, not the X-Men run. I'm missing some X-Men, but solo, I should say.
That's a busy cover. And what in the hell is this? Who is that supposed to be?
I don't know. Who the hell is that?
I don't know. Is he Dr. Druid or something? I don't know.
Did they bring Dr. Druid back?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't really I can't tell who he is.
Jason Aaron.
Maybe that's Jason Aaron then. Okay, this never happens on comics ever. A billion. Oh, this is boring. Is that? That's Romita. Oh, that's Romita Jr.
I don't like Romita Jr. on Spider-Man.
There are a lot of people who don't like John Romita Jr.
I just don't like his. I mean, just doesn't do it for me. Oh, even the fake Wolverine with X-23. Well, I have a few X-23 issues. that doesn't count, Chris. Yeah, X-23 doesn't count. I just don't like Romita. I'm not saying it's some people like him.
A lot of people don't look. No, I mean Romita Jr. I liked him when Bob Layton inked him in the '80s, and he couldn't really do any damage because he just looked like he was copying his pappy. His art looked like his pappy on Spider-Man, and then on Iron Man. Well, Layton didn't ink him on Spider-Man, but he still looked okay on Spider-Man in the early '80s. And then on Iron Man, he looked great because it was Bob Layton doing all the real, art. But
I don't know how to describe it, but just look at Spider-Man's the shape of his face there, and of course, he's not doing the coloring, but it just doesn't work. It's just something about it doesn't.
It's even worse than that. I mean, sometimes
some people do. I mean, just don't like it.
Hungry Boy says Mark is trying to get me to lose weight by comics bulimia. Oh my! What in that freaking crap
I don't know what the hell
is
going on in this episode.
Star Wars.
Is that a little break? They're going to a party.
A little break. Lando with somebody. There's Chewie with his bowcaster for no reason in a party.
Yeah, at the party.
That's supposed to, who's that behind? Is it Han or is it Luke? Is that Luke?
That's Luke, I guess. Or is that the guy from the episode of The Flash? The Jester.
Yeah, trickster.
trickster.
That's supposed to be Luke. Why is he wearing a? It's like a masquerade party
I guess it's.
on whatever some
I
other
guess.
planet. Maybe this story takes place in between Empire and Jedi.
If I read it, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
good
look at this
cover art.
cover,
But,
Hungry Boy. Does that grab by me?
agreed, Phantom Outsider. We need to do an intervention on him. Let's see. What in the
This is not a
Jesus
good cover.
mother of God is this?
Just I don't know.
What a really
Batman's
lazy
been-
covers, man.
He's been chewed to pieces there. I don't know. That's just a weird
That's
cover.
unappealing.
It's featuring.
Covers are supposed to grab you, aren't they? Remember covers were like they're supposed to get you. Wait. Featuring Zurin R year one, so that means it's the Batman of Planet X.
Oh yeah. Should I pop it open and see if he's in there? Let's see.
If you want to. The Batman of Planet X, Zurin R. Why are they going back to that? The gold. I know. It's a Golden Age story called the Super Batman of Planet X, but then, it was. But I know Grant Morrison brought it back later and fiddled around with it. But really, Jesus Christ, is he in this?
Let's see. Well, I got my Stargirl in there that just got canceled. I'm gonna put the mic down to flip the pages.
Stargirl.
Fastages.
Farging bastages. So, let's see here. You can't show much because we'll get in trouble. But okay. We can skip ahead and show a page or two. We can get in a little bit of trouble. So,
if you don't show the whole thing, it doesn't matter. You don't show the whole thing, but you got Plastic Man there. I guess is that Barbara Gordon? I guess yeah. Wildcats. Wildcats are back.
The hell with them. So what else? that Superman cover, the Action Comics cover that you have there.
Let's see if he's from the Golden Age.
Yeah, I don't trust that. I know it's John's. I know it's John's, but some of the costumes are kind of crappy. So it's a new comic. I don't trust it. Let's look. Yeah, you can't open too many comics on there. You can get in trouble big time. I've heard about that. It's almost like showing a clip.
Oh yeah, I never heard that. I thought we were showing all the comics. Oh, because the new comic. Oh, because they're new or
it's new. I mean, I don't trust it. Like even you remember your boy Jack and Yellow Flash. Some of those guys when they would review brand new comics, they were very careful to show like a page or two, then turn a bunch of them, show a page or two here and there, and talk about the comic. They could get in some serious shit.
Well, this is an ad, so I can show an ad.
It's making my eye. It's killing Hungry Boy.
Well, look at this. They have retro. These are 90s rewind covers. There you go. Super. Oh, good.
Oh my goodness! Stop torturing Hungry Boy.
Oh, these are retro. Oh wait, you got Jim Ballant there. You got
Jim Ballant cover.
I'm just gonna see if we got the I won't show any more pages. See if we got the old Batman.
I don't blame you, Fanty. I love the JSA, but I don't trust. I don't even trust Johns with that anymore. I used to do some good stuff because I've seen some of the costumes that are in that. Like a buddy of mine who was a Golden Age Superman, a Golden Age comics expert says these costumes are screwed up, and they are. Yes, he was pimping in the mirror there, Michelle. That's what you saw. That's for sure. It's based on a goofy old cover that wasn't Superman, by the way, was it?
Yep. So we're just showing a panel, so you can't get in trouble for that.
Oh wow, he looks like Super Batman of Planet X.
Yeah, well, it did. Yep.
It almost looks like they're trying to copy Dick Sprang art.
Yep.
That looks pretty cool.
That did look cool. Yep. So I haven't read it yet. So, but
enough of that nonsense.
And the Joker actually looks like the Joker from Batman 66 a little bit in this. Let's see.
Pennyworth. Well, Jesus. Get off of that.
Well, I'll just show
you. Yeah.
You don't see the whole panel, but you can see that's the Joker. Yeah.
That's weird. So now let's just stick to just looking at front covers.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's
there. That's kind of a That's the cover anyway. I'm sure the comics poo-poo, but yeah, I like that cover a little bit. Kind of gives you sort of a George Reeves type feel to it.
Yeah, I'm liking that one. Yeah.
Not too bad. You
Kill
can rip
All
the cover off
Returns.
and throw the comic in the garbage. Nice little picture.
Was on the. Oh, I can't see the back
Kal-El
with the back
Returns.
end. And then it's the same style cover as the other the other Batman,
Yeah,
kind of
but that
gray
is
muted.
just, I can't get into that.
That's bad. Yeah,
That is
I
definitely
don't know
not
what
my
the hell.
bag, baby.
What the hell that's supposed to
This
be?
was
But
small
is that
bag,
Beta Ray
baby.
Bill?
Yeah, yes, Beta Ray Bill. Yeah, and the other, the new Golden Age says Chris Berger. Can we get the real Golden Age back, or can we even get the previous Golden Age with Jack Knight and Starman? No, sir, we can't. But so the thing is, it's it is Jeff Johnson who's done good stuff with those characters before. It's just that right now, and I mean, it might even be good if someone reads it and tells us it's good. Then I might believe him, but I'm gonna go 14,000 calories.
Did I kill Hungry Boy?
Too much tonight after this. Yeah, you're really hurting Hungry Boy's feelings here.
Sorry, Hungry Boy. I didn't mean to do that.
Boy, I have to take responsibility for it too, but I'm sorry.
You asked me to show new comics, so here we'll put this.
It was your idea, but I didn't.
It was my idea.
I should have sent an electric shock through the. Nah, we're both to blame.
Yeah,
it's a fair cult, but society is to blame.
It was fun.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm buying those, but God, it just. But I did get something good though. Thanks to Cloud.
Thanks to Claude, what you got? I read the new Golden Age. It was okay, says Classic Comics. Oh, there we go. Well, of course, we've talked about this. This is a wonderful book. We'll review it soon. We will review it soon.
Yep.
I didn't get this is the best thing to come out in years.
So I had ordered the deluxe slipcase edition with like the poster and other stuff in it. And they only printed 3,000 copies and never got it. It wasn't the shop they ordered it from. I guess they solicited too many issues, or so they're like, your order has been canceled. What a revolting development that was. So I was able to secure this.
At least you got the pleb edition.
Yeah, no, this is fine.
Yeah,
the other one was only
it's
only a few bucks more. Yeah,
it's like 27, it's like $30, but Alex Ross, folks, I highly recommend this. Alex Ross's book, Fantastic Four: Full Circle. I talked a good bit about it. I didn't go do a deep dive in a review of it yet. Mark and I will do that. We're doing it, pushing that back up till next year because we want to give the book time to breathe, to be out there a little while, before we can show pictures from it. But it's beautiful, and art's incredible. I've shown you pictures from it many times, and it's the story is of course based in the great Kirby era. It's even sort of a follow up to an old Kirby classic, and it's which is really good. Stories fine. It feels like real FF stuff. The characters act like the real deal. They look like the real deal. It's the closest you're going to get to anything in your hand, holding a comic book of any kind with the real deal Fantastic Four ever again produced. Unless he does another one, there will never be anything. I know they went back and just canceled that stupid Dan Slott series and went back to #1 with another writer. That's not Fantastic Four. That's Garbaggio. But this one is nice. Hey, Max Redstone, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Max.
Let's see here. Michelle's asking, would I look up Amy Lee's comic book, please? I'm not sure if I'm familiar with Amy Lee. I don't know. Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure who that is. No. Is a new comic book, old comic book?
Is that a new comic book or what? Lead singer of so I do have a comic book that I love from the lead singer of Evanson. Was it Evanson?
I think it's a Evans. I can't stream mouth.
Evanson? Is that how you say it?
No, it's a different. I think there's an R in there.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't see an R.
That's it. No, but I think it's spelled with an R.
Oh,
or
okay.
Maybe not.
Evanson, whatever. I'm not sure exactly how you say it. I have all 3 issues of Amy Lee's Echoes for the Void. Okay, I know nothing of it, my dear. I don't know what the.
Here's the link to an article.
Okay.
On it. Yep.
Hang on. We're gonna get out of here in a second, folks. We've been on for 2 hours, so. And Where are Ewoks? You know, the ones that sing Yub Nub. Yub Nub is no more. What did you say? You found a link or something?
Yeah, I just threw in the chat. Yeah, there's a link on the article.
Okay.
about
Oh,
the
okay.
comics.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a
There's
band.
a link.
And
Yeah, anyone
never
who
heard
wants
of
to
it.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Anyone who wants to see that, can we show? You want to share and show it real quick? Or,
Yeah, let me just scroll through and make sure it's safe.
Oh yeah, gotta make sure. So, yeah, I mean,
well, I'm assuming it is, but yeah, just
so this is a band.
It's a band, yeah.
Evanescence. Snow Messiah says Evanescence. I don't know. That doesn't help me pronounce it somehow. Alejandro Flores Ibarra. Hey there. Good to see you. Yes, we're about to wrap up in a second, but the show is still going.
Okay, let me make this full screen. Let's do.
All right, but we'll show it just for you, Michelle. Yeah, you're right, hungry boy. I'm an old fool. I don't have any kind of gothness about me, but we'll show it. It's comics related, so what can you do? I know nothing about this, and well, the art. Okay, so want to show
the second book on the graphic anthology series, Echoes from the Void.
Gotcha. Graphic anthology series. That art looks good.
It's created by
Evanescence.
Sorry.
No one's helping me. Evanescence is what Hungry Boy is saying.
All right.
Evanescence. Thank you.
Evanescence.
Alejandro's Evanescence. That I get. Everyone's trying to help me pronounce it, but Alejandro knocked it out of the park. Evanescence.
I'm a bear of little brain.
Yes. So anyway, there any pictures from the art? Or
yeah. Let me go down. I just said yeah. So it's the stories from their latest album, The Bitter Truth, which emerged earlier this year. Cover art and book samples below. Let's scroll down to that. So I guess there's Revolution of Cassandra, liberal, nostalgia-loving humanitarian in the crossfire of a raging civil war. Must save her sister from the firing squad of a brutal dictator. That art looks pretty good, I have to say.
Good art. Yeah, okay. There you go. Well, that's some interesting art there.
No, I like that.
Michelle, I like that. Well, it's a hot chick, so I'm happy there. So she's cute. So, yeah, this looks good. I mean, the art looks nice. You know me, there are no superheroes and stuff in it, but I actually no, this is really good art. I like it.
No, it's good. Yeah, nice panel layout there. Yeah,
there you go.
It's good art. Yeah,
and this is a book that is currently available out there. Is what you're saying there, Michelle. So that's a book out there, folks. Well, yeah.
Yeah, let's see when's this article dated? October 27th. Yep. Oh,
so
2020. 2021.
Recent. Go. Let's see what the lady go down with the to the top. No, up.
Sorry.
Yep. Okay, so that lady is what's her name? Amy Lee.
She's a singer, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, a lovely lady there. Okay. So hey, Joe's Atmosphere. What's up, buddy? Hot chicks.
Joe.
Yeah, all in. So very nice looking stuff. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Throw Star Wars stuff out. I bet. Is he behind in the stream? Maybe.
He might be behind in the stream.
I bet your friend also eats canned cranberry. I'm not sure what Max is referring to.
Canned cranberry sauce. Yeah. From last night, he must be rewound a little bit, but
maybe a little back in the stream there, maybe.
Yeah, remember last night we were debating canned versus fresh cranberry sauce. I like the canned. Max was going nuts. It was a crime against nature. Yeah,
I got you. By the way, Joe's Atmosphere. Good to see you there, buddy. Joe's Atmosphere is a comic book artist as well, so he's got a comic out there. Joe Atmosphere. Tell us everyone where they can find your book if you. I don't think you have a comic out there, buddy. Anyway, Oliver says the artist of the new Wildcats comics name is Steven Segovia. Is one of a comic book. Is one of a comic book friend of. Is a comic book friend of mine. I think he means. Glad he got the job to pencil the new Wildcats. Well, there you go. That's excellent for Image, obviously. So,
yeah, I guess it's still Image. I was just showing the ad in the comic book just a few minutes ago. Yep. So they're advertising that. Yep.
Okay. He says, change my Twitch stream to Monday nights. Just got done, says Joe. Okay, Joe has a comic, I do believe. If anyone knows about her, Joe, if you want to tell everybody what it is, and we can, direct everyone how to go find it. I do believe. Am I wrong, or doesn't Joe have a comic? Do you know about that?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's the artist. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's Joe's YouTube channel.
Okay. We'll be plotting the first cover of The Privateer this Saturday. Okay. Oh, you got it. Thanks. Joe, let's see. Mark has put your YouTube channel. I presume if they go to your YouTube channel and subscribe, they can find the info about your comic and links to all that good stuff. If I'm not mistaken. So please go to Joe's channel and subscribe to his YouTube channel and go find his comic or info about his comic. I don't know if it's out yet or not. But so, yeah, I guess just find the channel and subscribe to that, and he can tell you all about it and stuff. So appreciate that. Thanks,
read all
Mark,
about it.
No read all about it over there. Or watch all about it, as the case may be. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all for being here with me tonight, especially since I did nothing till Mark showed up and livened the place up. All I did was yak for an hour and a half, but you were all nice to hang out with me anyway. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mark, for showing all that cool stuff. And the trooper there, it's very cool. The troop transporter. Yeah,
it's a fun vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool. Let's see here. Again, tomorrow night, I should be over there at he plots the comic every Saturday on his channel. Okay, cool. Live on YouTube, 1 p.m. Central CST on Saturday, I think he means. Okay, so tomorrow night I'll be over there with on Midnight's Edge After Dark around 6, I think 6 Central. Thank you, Oliver, for being here, buddy. Mark will be on Toxic Tuesday tomorrow night. The show, the Nick and the Boys on Nick Weiser's buddy Nick Weiser's channel. There's a link in my description below. He can put the link in there if you want. For Nick Weiser's channel tomorrow night at, I believe it's 9 Central for Thunderball.
It's not Mad Max Return from Thunderdome, no.
Well, I was trying to put you off the path so you could mess it up.
So I could mess it up again. Yeah.
Don't you feel? Aren't you like, adding to your own pain by dredging that bad memory up?
Yeah, that was fun. Huh? Well, hey, I did the slideshow on the fly.
So. Until I know different. Wednesday night. What is wrong with you? My computer's being a
computer, not me, right?
Cripes. What are you doing? No, it's just some stupid thing popped up. I couldn't get rid of. It's really slow. Anyway, Wednesday night, we should be over on Loki's channel, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the comic book roundtable. I hope, well, we'll see. But if we're just going to say it now, if it turns out to be wrong, I'll announce it later. And then 9 p.m. Thursday night Central Standard Time, I'll be back right here doing another open show. It'll just be Wild Card Wednesday night, unless I think of a topic, but it'll be that. And then Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, over with Tom and the gang on Midnight's Edge After Dark. I'll be there. Then Clobby's Clubhouse, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, with the wonderful Commander R.M. Briggs and the great Chief Engineer Mark D with a C. Then Nick Wise's channel on Friday night for the Comic Shop with the Comic Shop gang. I'll be there 8:30 Central Standard Time. And of course, Saturday night Star Trek. We're starting season 4 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, 4 episodes for your reviewing pleasure. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, same Trek time, same Clobby channel. And then Sunday night, the Geekery on Mark's great channel, Mark D with a C. You can put your channel in there. Sunday night Geekery. It's always a good time, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Hang out with us. Hang out. Yep.
Anything else to announce?
I'm trying to do a short a day, toy a day, basically. and then maybe eventually we'll get to some. I'm just been so busy, which is a good bad excuse, but busy day at work today. I got a lot of orders, which was good. So that was
Well, that's good.
that was good.
Starting off Christmas right.
Someday we'll do that Galactus Galactus
I'm ready.
unboxing, but and then
I'm ready to be there to be I'm ready there to like try to make you feel bad about it and be really mean to you about it for ordering that thing.
Let's say, when did you get Funko Pops instead?
Yeah, well, not that far. Oh dear.
Anyway. Oh, thank you, Joe. Yep.
Yes, sir. Well, there you go then, huh? Well, let's say our goodbyes here tonight, of course.
Yeah.
Let's see, if naturally goes without saying that we say goodbye to our fantastic wrenches, of course, the great Eric K. And again, thanks so much for that gift, Eric K. Appreciate you, the bronze wrencher, the great Vindicated Wrench of the North, Chris Persia. Thank you so much, buddy. All you do, really appreciate it. The great D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. And of course, the Polymies Minion and the Pupper were here for a second. Yay, Pupper!
Yeah,
Let's see here. The Pupper Oni. Who else was here with us this evening? We got a bunch of them. And let's see here. We, of course, have the great Retro Blasting was here. Michael, thanks for being here, buddy. It's always a pleasure. I'm always honored to have you here, bro. Thank you so much. I hope we can get together and hang out soon. And hope you're doing well and had a good holiday. Let's see here. J-Man popped in as well. That great J-Man. We're going to be reviewing more Bob Haney soon. The wacky world of Bob Haney is going to be a staple on Clobberin Times throughout 2023. Let's see here. Lord Thoth, Avon lives, long live the Legion. My friend, you may have had to run, but he was here earlier. So big shout out to him, my great friend. Hungry for Mark Turkey Day leftovers. The great
They're all boy. Gone.
Who is
actually
it?
They're in the soup now. We made soup tonight.
Oh man. Well, that's all it counts.
You like turkey soup?
I think so. I don't know if I had.
No, well, sorry. I was hoping you didn't like. I don't want to make you hungry. Sorry,
I mean, as long as it doesn't have any other trash in it, I like.
Well, there's carrots in it. Is that okay?
Oh no, I just eat around the carrots. I take them out. My mom gets so mad at me when I take carrots out. When she makes like vegetable soup or whatever, which I do eat, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But I don't want carrots in there. She drives her crazy. She hates that.
But what do you eat in the vegetable soup? Just the meat?
Well, yeah, but no, I eat the other stuff too, like potatoes and the other vegetable stuff in there because it's soup. It's different. But I just don't like the carrots in there. I mean, when they're small and tiny. But I'll sit there. Like if I have just a can of crappy Campbell's chunky like chicken noodle soup or something, I'll sit there for 30 minutes taking all the carrot crap out of there. Just with the noodles and the chicken.
But they're little teeny little carrots.
Big enough. Yeah, but they're kind of. But I have to get them out of there.
Andy made turkey soup tonight too. Yeah,
that's why I'm blind.
One of the best. Yeah, I wonder if Andy, you get put celery and carrots, and then when you cook the pasta separately.
No, I get all that stuff out there. Oh yeah, no, I can't have it. Maddie's daddy, thank you for being there, buddy. Andy Masterson, I'm honored to have you popping in, sir. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Wagner. Thank you, Wagner, for being here. Michelle O'Rourke Johansson, thank you for being here tonight. Let's see here. Claude Salling, thank you for being here. Phantom Outsider, buddy. Appreciate you. Cardinal Sin, thank you for your contributions and thanks for hanging out, buddy. You're too kind. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Very generous and a good buddy as always. And hope we can talk soon. Mark Lerseth, thank you for being here tonight. I think you had to run. Hang on, everybody. We're going to shout you all out tonight. Kind of the way we try to roll. Tonight. Everyone gets shouted out tonight. Why not? Brian Hepburn, thank you for being here. Trevor Cunningham, thank you, and thank you for that super sticker. Let's see here. Your Muslim uncle, my friend. So happy to see you. I hope your mother is doing well. Hope she's doing better, buddy. Hang on. Takes a second to scroll through these folks. I apologize. I know it's riveting radio. Dave. Let's see.
Speaking of radio, I've been watching some of the old time radio, or on YouTube, I should say, listening. They're pretty damn good. You start listening to the old radio programs. There's some channels that are on late at night, and it's kind of nice and relaxing.
Oh yeah, they got good stuff on there, huh? Yeah,
yeah, it's really
very cool.
The story. You get into the stories, without the pictures. You can see why how cool that the superhero stuff would have been on radio back in the day. Yeah.
I got a bunch of a buddy of mine just sent me a bunch of those. Could not be reached for further comment. Thank you so much. Let's see. There are more, I promise, folks. There are more. It just takes me a second to get to them. A world made of cardboard. I believe maybe had to run, but thank you so much. A world made of cardboard. Appreciate you. I think I already mentioned him anyway, but he's worth mentioning again. Great retro blasting. Always glad to have you here, buddy. My chat's backed up, so I'm not seeing anything going on currently, in case you all wonder, because I had to back it up. Stephen M., the great Kal-El, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Girls 18 site. What a great friend of the show. Spammer bots, but spammer bots are people too. Sort of. Maybe. Well, I mean, they're sort of people too. Not really. But
those people behind it.
Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not people after all. Well, the people made them, but it's not very nice people because they're jerk offs for making annoying shit like that. If they were making them just like to annoy big corporations, that'd be one thing. But annoying, just us little folks, what's wrong with you? Yeah. Keely Chow, Roll Tide. Matt G. Hey there, Matt G. Almost there, folks. Stay on target. Almost there. You're too close. Like Tommy, like touch. It came from right behind. Jack's mama. The Ginger Ninja. So proud to have you pop in tonight, and thank you again for that magnificent art that you did, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Great artist. Please go subscribe to his channel. Midnight's Oblivion popped in. The aforementioned great Andy Masterson was here also. Classic Comics. Good to see you there, boyo. Hope to see you at the I guess I'll see you soon maybe at the round table if we're having it. Oliver Belamonte. Snail Messiah, buddy.
Hey, Snail.
Oh, now I'm going to make that our usual bet. Okay. What do you think? Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody.
I'm just going to say no. There's no way you got everyone.
Say no? Okay.
Too many people here tonight. Yep.
I don't blame you. Oh, Max Redstone.
See?
You did it. Okay. Alejandro Flores Ibarra. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to say I got him. Larry, say I lost again. Joe's Atmosphere, I lost again. Damn it.
Yeah.
Good to see Larry and Joe. Now I'm going to say I got them all. Now I'm going to say I got them all.
Did
now
you get Dave?
Say I got them all now. Yeah, I did. So,
okay. Just checking.
So what? So much for that. I sure did. And thank you, Dave. Okay. It looks like I really did get them all this time. I don't see anybody that's popped in. There we go. Gotcha. Oh, thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Max. You shouldn't have. Give me. He says, "Give me fresh cranberry sauce." There. Give me Wesley. Wow, that's extreme, dude.
Alan Moraine. That deserves an Alan Moraine.
You think we should give him an Alan Moraine?
Yeah, I think he gets one for
all
that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're playing this, and then we'll play this for you. Then we'll head out. Thank you all so much for being with us.
Clobberin time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
I just love clobbering time.